Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, a video game podcast where we all play the same game and then we talk about it. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by 4 party members today: Lauren,
Hey.
Tunza,
What's up?
Danboy,
Hello.
and Hipker.
Hey.
In this episode of the Game Club, we're helping our bandmates overcome their mental health issues as we play through the Theforestquartet. This was our short game for the month of January. The Theforestquartet was released on December 8th, 2022 on PS4, PS5, PC, and then later on it released for the Nintendo Switch. The Theforestquartet was developed by Mads and Friends and published by Bedtime Digital Games. This is Mads and Friends' only game, but it has been stated that another game is in development. I'm going to give a quick summary of the story to the game, but before that, I want to give the spoiler warning, and I would recommend playing the Theforestquartet before listening to the episode. In the Theforestquartet, we play as Nina, the lead singer of a jazz band called the Theforestquartet, who has sadly recently passed away after battling an illness. The remaining trio has announced a final tribute concert to her that will take place in the forest where they all live. However, the isolation and grief of the members has gotten the better of the three, so by using Nina's spirit, we have to resolve their mental health issues, which manifest in various forms. The pianist Kirk is battling depression, the bassist Jean-Baptiste, or JB, suffers from anxiety, and the drummer Sebastian has anger issues. That's all I really want to talk about for story at the moment. We'll touch on more of that later. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to Tunzo, where he's going to talk about gameplay and mechanics for the Theforestquartet.
Okay, I'm not really sure how to start with this because you said now you want to go with the story later. But you use puzzle elements to solve each one of the band members' crises or mental health problems, however you want to phrase it. The beginning, you kind of have like an engine-esque like puzzle solving by picking up items and placing them where they need to be. The next one's about connecting light strings of light, and the other one's going through tubes and putting out fires with water. Do we want to get in depth about like what each puzzle is, or you want to go through the story that way?
We can just kind of talk about it a little later on. I just feel like, that's mechanics. It's a puzzle game in kind of its simplest form. I wouldn't think any of them are drastically difficult by any means. They're sort of like, they're kind of like stepping stones to advance the story along. So I didn't think any of them were overly challenging, but you're picking up different pieces and lighting up things, and it's all around the puzzle mechanic and then just kind of moving around as Nina's spirit outside of that. I think that's about it. Do you guys have anything else for gameplay?
No, it was very simple for the gameplay.
Yeah.
All right, so for now, we'll put a pin in the story, like I said, and we're going to go over to Lauren, where she's going to talk about the art design for the Theforestquartet.
Smaller games like this, I have a hard time finding stuff, but Mads, and I'm sorry if I butcher this last name, Vadschult, main person that made it, obviously, he did a lot of the game design too. He ended up hiring some people for the character animations, and it seems like quite a few of them went to the same school that he did at a animation workshop. A lot of them do just kind of your basic I've worked here and I do a little bit of character animation. I've worked on commercials, a lot of stuff like where they live. But the art style is dark and gloomy for the forest, but they do a good job with all the main characters more of a glowing light, and then you're lighting up street lights. Some of the puzzles have lights in them too. I don't really know how to explain it without going into details on story mechanics, but I would say a lot of dark and gloomy for the forest.
Also has what?
Is it sludge?
Oh,
whatever that
I thought you said
covered everything.
blood. There's
Yeah,
no blood in this
yeah,
game.
mine was red. I don't know what happened.
I would say that the art design is very minimum. Like nothing is overly detailed. It's kind of like a simplistic look to most things. Like most of the characters have like very little detail when it comes to like face design and like what they like look like. They're more like polygon, I guess, than like realism. Yeah, it's cute. I like the way it looks.
Same.
Are you good for art then, Lauren? We'll move on to music.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to move on to sound design and music for the Forest Quartet, and Dan is going to tell us about that.
I don't even know where to start because everything is basically music in this game. That's like the big thing with it. Is Mads Vadshol, I think is how his name's pronounced. I don't know. His dad is the one that composed all the music. And then it's kind of a family-made project, like the entire game. Well, I guess. But the guy's sister is the one that voices Nina. I guess he got people from this band. Where did I just write this at? DR Big Band, Danish radio. They helped make some stuff. Like they are the ones that do some of the music playing, like the piano. I don't remember what other instrument. The drums, bass.
That's
Yeah, Caspar, which is Mad's dad, does double bass. Henrik Gund does the piano. Martin Maretti Anderson does the drums, and then Klaus Wadeslow does the saxophone. Yeah. From my understanding, because I don't know if this is kind of what you wanted to cover. I don't know what you wanted to cover with the story, but the project itself was kind of brought up from his mom passing, which she was not an actress. She was a singer, and the main song that they do at the end for the credits, that I think was her song.
I mean, it makes sense. Like the whole game is a passion project, essentially.
Yeah.
Lauren had read like, was that the Reddit post that he was part of, Lauren?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Where he was talking about all that, being tied into like his mom having cancer and passing away from it, and he kind of used her as the inspiration behind the game itself.
Yeah.
And it was just like he used that, I don't know if inspiration is the right word, but he used it to push through it when people told him that it was a waste of time. So that was kind of neat. Just like the whole story behind like the game itself is very good. But I love the sound effects throughout the game, like the background music, just the kind of the noises when you're like just running around tapping like the X button or the E button, and it just like makes like that, I don't know, like you're like beating on a drum.
Tap your
or
fingers.
something. Yeah. Yep. So overall, I think the sound design is very good in this game for what it is, and I like the song at the end. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I saw that in 2023 the game won some award. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was like, hold on, where was this? Blah, 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 blah. Excellence in Audio Award at the 2023 Independent Games Festival.
I could see that. It was good. The sound design's
Yeah.
overall really good in the game.
I seen on their website that they won quite a few awards for audio. Like at the Game Audio Awards, they won like audience favorite. At another one, they won best audio and best visuals. Like it seems like that's like a big thing, is the awards for the sound.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's open up the floor and we'll just talk about anything that made an impact for us. Hip, how about you start?
I feel like nothing made an impact for me. I feel like the whole game was
Oof.
just there.
Oof.
Yikes. Nothing you want to talk about?
I think it was a fun I think it was a fun puzzle game, but I don't think there's anything major. The music's like the only redeeming quality for it, in like the nicest way possible.
Yikes.
Actually, no, I liked the whole like podcast therapy-esque session you got after like for every
That was
checkpoint.
good. Yeah, I liked that too.
That was my most enjoyable moment, was hearing the group talk about nonsense and about their depression, anxiety, stuff like that.
I think that's for me personally, like a lot of games they feel very like stiff when they try to do like that kind of conversation. Like it almost seems like it's a forced dialogue. That seemed very natural conversation, and I don't know how they went about
Yep.
doing that, but it just feels more like a normal, like if me and Tunza just are casually chatting, like it would be very similar to that. Just because we've like known each other forever, where sometimes in games I feel like it's too static. So I really like that part too. Like it just gives you little snippets between like puzzles, and I think it doesn't overdo it, and it feels natural.
Yeah, that's the puzzles were very simple. I didn't like care too much about them.
Anything from anyone else, Tunza?
Oh, I really like the lighting in this. It definitely it showed up really good on the OLED Switch. Like just the vibrancy of the the warm tones from everything. I liked it a lot. It was like a game that actually used that OLED screen very well. Also, it says it's not, unknown status on the Switch or the Steam Deck. My bad, I got it the Switch. It is fully playable and worked great.
Yeah, I
I
like
feel
the
like I can leave a review on that.
I like the how each member of the band deals with something different. So then the environment while you're like helping them through that crisis is different. So like the first one he describes like being in the forest is like machines. So everything's more like has like a mechanical like tone to the puzzles. Where like the second guy, JB, has anxiety and there's like little like monsters running around. So I thought that was like a unique way to show anxiety and depression from like two different perspectives. Um,
Agreed.
I
I
think the
like the drummers too, with like his anger, because when you would go near like these pits almost, you would hear him like aggressively drumming, and it felt like I was like, oh, he's mad. Like this is like anger. This is frustration. Like I thought that was really cool.
I love that he has like an endless amount of firewood.
True.
Well, he's in a forest.
Yeah, like when they
That's
show
true.
him like hitting the tree that for some reason is just awkwardly in his house.
Hole in his
Yeah. Um, there's like just a pile of like firewood like by the fireplace. I'm like, this dude has been chopping wood for hours.
Also, another thing I really liked about them talking is the pianist, like the first part where he's like on the phone and talking about it. He's like, you go through, do one puzzle, and he's like, oh, I don't know. Then you do the puzzle, and he's like, what time are we doing it? And then you do the next puzzle. He's like, yeah, you know what? I'll be there. Like I like that. It just like you slowly gave it like confidence as you got the machines and the engine running.
Yeah, he like cleared the cloudiness out of his brain because he's like,
Mm.
not sure of himself. And he's like, but would we even be any good?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I could do it 10 minutes.
Actually, yeah, we'll be good. We'll be for sure good. I think it's this way.
Yeah, I
Like
like
after he
that.
doubted himself. That's a good one.
That progression that like once you clear up like little parts of each, and I like that it shows that like the cloudiness is around their house, or JB's whole house is surrounded by those like monsters. So as you like they start
Yeah,
to
they're trying
go
to break
away,
down the door.
yeah, he becomes less like anxious about it. Also, the pianist turned to alcohol, man. There was tons of bottles of alcohol in that house.
First thing I said whenever I saw that, I was like, "Damn, he just like me."
I will say though that one of the weirdest portions is like they have this concert in the middle of the forest, but like there is not a path leading to that like little venue that they're playing at. How do these people find this in the middle of the night?
Yeah, no. At one point, they were talking about like, "Oh, are you sure anyone else besides their friends are gonna be able to find it?" It's like it's in the middle of nowhere. How the hell did your friends even find it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Point.
at one point they're like lost getting to Sebastian's house. You think people that don't know the area are gonna be like, you know what? I can find this concert.
The GPS says we're here, but it's just woods.
And it's scary. It's scary dark woods with minimal
Yeah.
lighting.
Why is it night? Why is there not tiki torches on a path leading up to the venue?
Hey, there's street lights for some reason. Those lamps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I lit every single one of those
Me too.
just to find out that it did nothing.
Well, I found that I think back in early after this game released, they were going to add achievements, and then they just never did.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. I was looking for them. I was like, is there not achievements in this?
yeah, because it was like one of the patch notes or whatever, like the community notes on the Steam page, and they were like, "Oh, like thanks to support from everybody, like we're gonna be adding in like achievements," and that was like 3 years ago, and they never added them. So
That happens.
I don't know if that would have tied in any way, like lighting all the street, like the lamp post or whatever. But
Maybe I was going around like lighting all of them, and I saw that there was no achievements in the game, so I just stopped completely.
how about all the during like the anxiety section where like you have like those? They remind me of like cameras, like old school cameras. They're like, and they're showing like the images on the wall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
What was
Oh, yeah.
what is the point of like here's grass, here's like a circle?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was there a point to any of
Yeah.
that?
I think just to throw you off and have to look at the other ones.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was like,
maybe.
hey, there's this one, but this might not be the like pattern you're looking for.
Yeah, it was just like weird because there's like that one section that has like what is it like 7 of them, 7 or 8 of them.
Oh, there's a lot.
And it's like
Yeah.
the one's like image of grass, the other one's like a big circle, and the other one's like a solid circle, and then this one's like some crazy like squiggly lines. And you just need like the one at the top or whatever. It shows you like how to
Mm-hmm.
the order in which to light or connect like the circuits for the lights. Just an interesting thing, but I liked leaving them all on and just hearing like.
Every time I got to
Samurai.
one of those, I would always try to brute force and guess it every time.
Yeah, until like the third-ish or fourth one where like, you know, they like flicker or whatever. I didn't know you could stop them. So I always
You can
just
stop
left them.
Oh, you
Oh.
just yeah, you could.
You can stop
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I just left it flickering the whole time.
Like,
Me too.
same until like I accidentally clicked on it again and I was like, oh.
Wouldn't have turned them off regardless. I would have just left them on.
Yeah, you don't really need them to be turned off.
Right. Yeah.
I do like how scary the first one is, though, where it's like just an arrow pointing down. It's like a scary, like horror movie. It's like flashing lights at
Yeah.
you, and you're like,
It's like a monster.
I guess I'll
Yeah,
fall in a
I-
hole.
I really thought there was gonna be like some weird boss thing or something.
Just the like Dark Souls music.
Yeah. You just go down there, and there's just like 5 bosses trying to fight you at the same time. It's game over. You suck.
I'd cry.
What did you guys think of the conclusion? Like, did you like that they all ended up just coming together at her like grave, like finally visiting it and being like, we have to do this for her? Do you think that was a good way to end it? I felt like that was, I don't know how else you would have ended it, but I felt like that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a good way for them to kind of
Yeah.
all. Because at one point the pianist is like I haven't felt, because I think Sebastian's like, I've been so angry or whatever, and then the pianist is like, I felt nothing. Like I just haven't felt anything at all. And I was like, man, that is so true. If for anyone that's ever like dealt with depression, it's not necessarily being sad. You just kind of feel nothing. I think that was good.
Yeah, me and you had talked about that, where I feel like people have this misconception that depression always equals like sad, crying, like things like that, like very emotional, but sometimes depression also manifests as nothing. So you just feel like you're kind of stagnant. You feel nothing. You just kind of are living. It's a little weird.
Yeah, but I like that they all meet and they merge all the puzzle mechanics for like that section. So you're doing like a little bit of everything from each one of the previous levels. I think that was pretty cool. And then I really like the like gold walkway thing that you float down at the end as Nina. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, reminds me of like a dock.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you come down into the end and you turn into like butterflies, and then she like manifests basically during the concert, and she like all those butterflies fly in as they're playing. I think it's a good ending. I like I said, it's not a very in-depth game in terms of like it's around an hour of actual like, gameplay.
Yeah, give or take.
But I think the story was obviously important to the developer, and I think people can relate to feeling certain ways, especially dealing with death. So I overall think the story was done good, and the puzzles, in my opinion, don't need to be overly complicated. I know some people would probably want more in that aspect, but for me personally, I think those puzzles are perfect. Move the narrative along. Get in, say what you got to say, and get out. Sometimes less is more.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that about covers for me when it comes to like just any parts I wanted to talk about. You guys have anything else?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head.
So, yeah, not for me.
All right, so now we'll see how long it took each one of us to complete the game. Starting with Dan, how long did it take you to complete
Hi.
the game?
That's me. 59 minutes.
Speedrunner.
I know.
Yeah, speedrunner.
Speedrunner.
Hit.
Mine was a little bit slower than it would have been, but 67 minutes.
Okay.
Speedrunner.
Nice.
Hey, that was with me stopping on the main menu to set up my recording, and stopping on the main menu after I beat the game to talk after I finished it.
Yeah, mine is a bit longer. It's 78 minutes, but I went through the whole intro where like the guy is talking in Dutch.
Oh, same. I didn't skip anything.
But so what ended up happening is I went through that whole thing, started moving with her, and I was like, oh, maybe I put it in the wrong language. So then I went back to the main menu, and then I had to go back through it again because that's not considered a save point yet.
As I see, I started it, realized it was a cutscene at the beginning, so I went back and restarted the game so I could have the opening in the video.
Oh, okay. Lauren, how long did it take you?
72 minutes.
Okay,
Whoa.
so
Speedrunner.
a little shorter than me, and then Tunza and myself had the same exact time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did that
78
on
minutes.
purpose.
Yeah, I perfectly timed it. While I was cooking my food.
Yeah, he kept a little timer next to him.
Yeah, I set the Steam Deck down and was like, all right, I gotta stir this pasta.
He said, I'm at 75 minutes. Corey's at 78 minutes. I'll just leave it on for 3 more minutes and I'll turn it off. And be like, oh, it's weird how we have the same time.
Oh, what a coincidence.
Just
We're
obsessed with you.
We're so much alike.
I wanted
Like the
this
same
so
person.
bad.
All right. So each episode we go around and we find out if we would recommend the game we're playing and why or why not. So starting with Lauren, would you recommend this game and why or why not?
Definitely recommend it. I really liked it. I thought the music was really good. I thought the conclusion was good. I feel like they did a good job in making you feel for the characters, them going through the anxiety, the depression, the anger, and frustration of losing a loved one. So I would recommend it. I had a good time.
Hip.
Um, despite what I said earlier, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice like puzzle game, nice story.
So you would recommend it?
Yeah.
And Dan?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's you'll get some enjoyment out of it. You'll have some feelings to be had while playing it.
Tenza?
Yeah, I recommend it. It's I think it does a great job conveying its feelings, and it's short and it doesn't take too long. Because I think if it was way longer, it'd be in a little bit of a trouble spot. But yeah, I recommend it.
I would also recommend it. I really like the art style. I like the sound design. I think the premise of the story is good, and I like that each character represents something different, which is how people tend to deal with death. You know, you either spiral into depression, you could feel anxious about the whole thing, or you could just be angry. Like a lot of people blame themselves, or they feel guilty for, not talking to that person or spending time. So having it from different perspectives and just kind of having like a real reaction to it, I think the story's pretty strong. And it like I said, it's short and sweet. If it overstayed its welcome, I think it might get a little more messy. But I think it does what it wants to do, and it's good. I'd definitely go check it out if you haven't already. The only, I guess, little added note that I would put is I do think $10 is a bit steep for full price. So I'm not much of a price person if I get enjoyment, but I think 10 is quite a bit for an hour game.
Yeah, I didn't even know how much it was.
Well, I paid like $2 for it when I like
Well, you
gifted
spent the
it
10.
to. Yeah, I spent 10 for 5 copies of it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think that it would be perfect at $5. Like if this was a $5 game like normal price, I think it would be absolutely worth every ounce of that 5. Like I said, 10's a bit steep for as much as you're getting out of it, but I still do think it's worthwhile. Something to put on your wish list, wait for it to go and sell. And it's one little session game for sure. If you don't finish in one session, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. You live a very busy
Yeah.
life.
All right. Hip is going to tell us about some reviews if there is some on Steam that he would like to go over. Usually we try to find some good, bad, and funny ones. I don't know if you'll find any funny ones for this game, but let me hear some reviews.
It's so the reviews for this it's mostly positive. It's 93% very positive. Like it's 93% positive reviews for Steam. So like most of the ones that are good review, well, almost all of them are good reviews, obviously, but a lot of them are like, oh, it's a very calm, peaceful, short, heartfelt game, very cute, stuff like that. But like the negative ones are really negative.
Yeah.
This one's one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. How does this get 94%? I'll never trust Steam reviews again. Seriously, this game is utter trash. Someone found materials in Unreal and spent a few hours throwing assets all around. But like some of the negative reviews, I do understand why. Because it's like it's very easy, short, quick puzzles. But I do agree with more of the reviews that are like, oh, it's a very cute game, enjoyed the story, very peaceful, fun experience, even with how short it is.
Yeah, I almost feel like the puzzles are like just stepping stones. Like they wanted to tell the narrative, but they were trying to figure out what you could do between sections, if that makes sense.
Yeah, instead of like a walking simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read on I want to say it could have been the Reddit like Q&A they did where somebody had asked like why did you go this route instead of like a walking sim and such, and they said that they just wanted you to have something to do instead of just walking and telling a story. So I think the idea wasn't to make a puzzle game, it was to make a story with something to keep you interacting.
So I will
That
say
makes
my
sense.
biggest complaint about the whole game is I feel like later on the puzzles became very few and like very simple.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would agree with that because
Because like
the first
the
guy's
the first guy he had a bunch of the things you had to turn on. Second guy you had like two. You had like two or three you had to activate, and yeah, like I don't know. I feel like later on it got a little bit more lazy with like how quick and easy the puzzles were.
yeah, and then
But
like
still a fun experience if you're not thinking of it as a puzzle game.
yeah, I think because like towards the end, like the when you do like Sebastian's like the anger one, it's like you do like one and then you start merging all the together.
Yeah.
So like I definitely agree with that. I think this is stupid as this sounds. This is a narrative with puzzles, not a puzzle game with a narrative.
Right?
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't personally mind it. They're simple. I didn't really have to think about the puzzles, so I was able to just move along the story. So I was happy with it. So I guess I'm in the positive reviews, not the negative Nancy's.
There's one review it says negative. They do not recommend, but it says the final track doesn't include a saxophone solo. Inexcusable.
What the fuck?
That made me laugh. I was like, okay.
I feel like somebody was like, I just got to make it not be 100% like positive. We have to add this one in.
Right.
And
Yeah, that made me laugh. I was like, oh, okay.
That's pretty good. Any other ones, or are we good to move on?
I think we're good
Not
to move
really.
on.
All right. Well, that has been the Forest Quartet. But before we go, Tunza is going to, how do you say it? Give us some plugs.
Thanks for watching this episode of Nerd Like Game Club. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We post first encounters, breakdowns, and long plays. So if you want to join the club, you can find our socials in the description.
On to the final credits. At the end of each episode, we kind of go around and just talk about anything we've been playing or any gaming news we want to talk about. Just for a couple minutes to close out the episode. Do y'all have anything? You see my southern accent came out there? Mm-hmm.
Southern accent. I had someone tell me the other day I sounded like I was a Southern belle. So
I don't know
No
about
one said
Southern
that.
Belle.
was not a Southern belle, but he said, "I thought you were one of the brothers from down south with me." I went, "No, I'm Ohio born and raised." And he was like, "God damn." But no, I started playing TFT again. I guess that's the only exciting and Monster Hunter. I started getting back into that. Only
It just plays
tidbits
like
over here.
57 games at once. Little tons of junior
I
over here.
Okay, but I actually finished my games.
Whoa, whoa.
Ooh, call him out. Call him
I'm
out.
4 for this year. We're 13 days in.
I finished Monster Hunter. I'm going back and doing the added bonus content they just did. I finished refinished Fallout 76 on PC.
You can finish that game.
Well, there's
Sorry,
the
I'm
main
so-
story. There's the main story quest line. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a main story.
Dan's over here like, you can actually finish that? Like, trying to make him not valid.
Working on Elden Ring right
I was just
now.
curious.
Been playing Fallout New Vegas here and there, but I don't know how long I want to play it because apparently there's rumors that they're releasing a remaster of 3 and New Vegas. So
Tunza
Nice.
rediscovered his love of Tomb Raider.
Nice.
I mean, I still like them. I just won't play them back to back again.
why?
Because they feel like the same game, and then the conclusion. The pacing in that like Shadow of the Tomb Raider is so fucking weird.
I hate that you don't do anything for the first hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then you're doing stuff, and it's like this story beat, then it moves forward, and then you're like, I feel like I'm about done. No, you're halfway through the game.
From watching you play it, it
Okay.
seemed incredibly handholdy.
It was very.
It was like, I know you've
between the
rock
temple
climbed,
run. Yeah. Yeah,
but
every time it would
here's
show
the
you
tips.
tutorial.
Yeah, here's the how you do it on the right hand side of the screen.
I feel like that's a tons of. I feel like you could probably go into the settings and turn that off.
Yeah, probably. I didn't think about that.
Not surprised.
But still handholdy, even like I would have to go in the settings and turn it off. So if you were a new player,
You probably had the option to turn it off originally, and you didn't select it.
No, I just hit normal. It just asked me the difficulty. It's like, how difficult do you want the puzzles and stuff to be? How difficult do you want the game? I just hit normal on both, and that was it. It didn't ask me like, how many times do you want to see? Hit E to climb.
All right, Dan, what have you been playing?
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. I got into a deep addiction of playing a Pokey Clicker. I leave it running
Pokey
like
Clicker.
24/7 on my computer. It's Pokemon games, but a clicker, like an idle clicker game. You go through all the regions, you go through all the games, but as a clicker.
How does that work?
And that's about it. So you pick your like starter and Kanto, and then it's like, all right, now you got to go to Route 1, and then you have to beat 10 Pokemon on that route to go to the next route, and then you just go to like Viridian, and then you go to Route 2, and then you go to Viridian Forest. You do like a little dungeon kind of thing,
But you
and
just
then you go to
click?
whatever town is.
So like, you don't get to pick like moves? It just attacks? Or, like, I don't really understand how it works.
You just click, like your Pokemon's attack is just kind of like a cumulative score.
Oh, like on the amount
And
of
it's like-
clicks or whatever.
Like you can click and you do like damage, but your Pokemon also have like an attack power that like happens every like I'm
Oh,
pretty
like a
sure it's every
clicker game.
second. Yeah, it's a clicker game.
Yeah.
Yeah, what part of Pokey
Well-
Clicker did you not
Well, yeah, I
understand?
was just
And the
curious
part that I
if-
said it was an idle clicker.
Well, yeah, I was just curious if how like that worked exactly. If it was like, you clicked and then, once you got to 100 clicks, you could upgrade your attack. Like those like incremental like clicker.
Yeah,
games.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you catch the Pokemon, and then you can go to like Johto whenever you beat Kanto, but you have to catch every Pokemon from Kanto. And the more Pokemon you catch, the stronger your Pokemon's attack is, the higher your click attack is. And then you go to Johto, and then your Pokemon from Kanto only regain like 20% of their attack. So you not like super high level. And then you go through Johto's like areas and gyms.
You play that Pokepath game, the tower defense one.
Oh, I thought about it, and I was like, I don't know if I'd really want that. And then I found Poke Clicker, and oh my gosh, I've been having a hoot.
You're like, I love this.
Yeah, I was trying to find things to do, and I was like, well, I could do that like tower defense one, or I could do that
Have to
Poke
actually play
Rogue
this
one.
I said, I don't actually have to play this one. I just sit here and let it run by itself.
I kind of, but gosh golly, I love clicking. I've clicked let's see my statistics real quick. I've clicked click attacks 404,000 times.
Oh my gosh.
That's it?
Jeez.
Yeah. Anyways,
Man, I might download this just to do it while I'm working all day.
yeah,
Oh,
you
man,
can look
you're-
over at it and see all your shinies pop up. I've caught like 20 shinies, haha.
I'm at 8 shinies. I can't really see how many clicks
Yeah,
I've
I've got
made.
a lot of people to play it because gosh golly, I'm cool. People love me.
How do you
Is it
check
just
how
a
many
browser
clicks?
game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a browser game, or you can download the client.
Oh, I just use the browser.
Yeah.
Well,
How do
I
I check
use
how many
the
clicks I
client.
got?
I'm in your statistics. I think it's just click attacks. Anyways.
Oh.
What?
Lauren, you got anything?
No, I don't do anything except for work and you know, hang out.
There's no new like
You know.
anime you've watched or anything.
No. So recently I've been rewatching Black Clover because they announced the new a new season's coming out finally after like 5 years. So I was trying to rewatch it. I've watched, I think I'm on like 130-ish, somewhere around there. I forgot how good the fight scenes are though. They're
Yeah.
very good in that show. But that's about it. I mean, I put together the puzzle that Tunza got me for Christmas. I think that was
Nice.
yesterday.
Yeah, that was
Ah,
yesterday.
cool.
Yeah, I was watching Black Clover on my screen while I was putting it together. Oh, and I returned my monitor at Best Buy on
You
Sunday.
returned your monitor?
Yeah, it was it had a line flashing across the bottom of it, and my warranty coverage was good until next month. So, even though it was 5 years old, I got a nice little chunk of money back for it. So, I'm waiting for the one I want to go on sale.
And then
Oh, okay.
funny thing is as I was carrying this in so we could return it, these two like teenage kids were like, "Hey, we'll buy that off of you." And I said, "It doesn't work. Why would you want to?"
Yeah. Well,
Like, I'll
it's
sell it to you
broken.
for like the full price or whatever, but like it doesn't work. So, but yeah, pretty funny. I don't really have anything. I'm going to start Earth's Dawn, as like my own personal game for just something to play. So I will be able to talk about that in our next episode. But as for now, that's pretty much all I've got. If you've played the Forest Quartet or know anything about it and want to talk to us about the game, feel free to leave a comment. Or if you plan on picking it up, let us know. We'd love to know. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.
Hey.
Bye-bye.
Later.